Oh shit, y'all! Gang's all here. Welcome, Nicco. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Aquarian Anarchy. We are ready to just say no to gun control. I hope you guys are too. Real quick, Marcus, can you hit us with the banner? And while Marcus is doing that, I'm going to remind everybody to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget 2 shares to speed the spread of this wonderful podcast that you have come to know and love. And don't forget to go to the Patreon. That's how Nicco got his mic. That's how Nicco got the banner in the background and everything. We got it working, and we are ready to kick this thing off. Bring your questions into the chat, but the Patreon, we want you to go there too, because we have a killer chat in there where there's some like gems being dropped on the daily. Saw Daryl and Tim going at it today. I was driving, so I didn't get to really participate in the conversation that much. But
how was it work?
Anyway, yeah. But it's good shit going on. So anyway, welcome, gentlemen. How's everybody doing? Nicco, you just get your mute. Oh shit, I had you muted. My bad. Let me unmute you. Shit. How was work today, man? I know you were they got you going through it all day.
Man, I work like 14-hour days.
Oh my
like God. I wake up at 3:30, and then now that we're not gonna have work because of Good Friday, I have to stay until 5:30 at work. So usually it's 3:30, and then we get that Chicago traffic, and on top of that, it's carpool, so we have to even. I don't get home until like 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Wow.
So like I'm tired, but fuck, I'm alive. I can't complain. That's my mode. That's my motto. I mean, I can't complain, man. I'm alive. Blessed, truly blessed. I want to fight people, but other than that. Shit, I'm alive, damn it.
Stack that bread, man. Stack that bread.
Man, good news. Fuck, there's my lighter. How are you guys? What's up? What's the word, boys?
Good things, man. I'm going to West Virginia this weekend, see some family.
Virginia.
That's right. My hands smell like weed right now because I broke some up before coming down here. I'm like, smell my fingers
right there. That's the good life.
It's one of those times where it's okay for you to get high on your own supply.
Man.
Yeah, for sure. Because I don't sell.
I know. It was.
I just smoke.
It was a terrible dad joke, but it's what it is. Anyway, I want to remind everybody also we are simulcasting on Libre TV.
Yeah, I did.
So check us out on Libre TV as well. Thanks to Saul and them for getting us hooked up over there, and we will have the episode uploaded there as well this evening. Yeah, I'm going to Gatlinburg, Tennessee this week. So
everybody's just leaving, huh?
Yeah, me and my boys are going. Man, I hadn't had a vacation in so damn long. I'm taking my boys and we're going up. My parents have a little cabin up there, so we're going to go chill for a week.
Oh, that's love.
Yeah, so we got an 11.5-hour drive starting tomorrow. So yeehaw! Wow. Hope we get there before midnight.
Yeah, I don't got all that.
Yeah, we're not going to get there before midnight. It was a joke.
Yeah, for me, we're going to visit Amber's stepmom and her dad. Her dad had some surgery issues we might get into at some point on here. The pure fuckery of the government healthcare system known as the VA. But probably going to wait to do that for another day. But his case of that is just absolute perfect example of why we don't want anything to do with socialized medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
That's straight bullshit, man. Well, so let's get into the theme du jour, which is how much gun control should there be?
Is Marcus, that even a question?
Are you there? Are you frozen?
That rhetorical.
Marcus, your connection's like fucked up.
Yeah, I thought that was my.
Am I frozen?
I thought it was mine too, and then you're not frozen now, but you froze up a couple of times. So anyway, you good? So yeah, I'm with you.
Cool.
Zero. So let's get into it. Go ahead, Marcus.
Oh, pardon me, boys. I'm gonna be eating dinner.
Go ahead, man. Do your thing.
All good.
I would be eating dinner too if I had some with me right now.
This is my dinner.
Pringles. Once you pop, you just can't stop.
Breakfast of champions, man. Breakfast of champions.
Oh shit.
Now, I thought that this would be a good topic for us to dive into, particularly because of what's going on right now. Many people want to be like, oh, now the Democrats are in, they're going to roll. But no, the Republicans just laid the groundwork for all this bullshit. You know, the bullshit that they did while Trump was in office was just as heinous. And I think it was actually easier and there was less of a pushback under Trump than there is right now under Biden. I think people are just kind of like, more or less like, okay, here comes the gun control. That's not how it's supposed to work. And the answer is what we've said. Say no. Fuck your gun control. We're not going to take it. And the reason is very easily found anywhere you look. I don't care if you're watching TV or if you're reading a history book. Every single time a totalitarian government of any kind takes the guns, that's the end of freedom. End of it. You know, I'm a big proponent of freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is extremely important to me personally. But without something to back that up, without a weapon in your hand, there is nothing to back it up. And the best story that I think can illustrate this is Geronimo. Most people, and there's an article that I wrote for Adam Kokesh that I put the link down below as well to get the full story. But the short end of it is everybody's heard the name Geronimo. They think that it means running off of something, jumping, and you scream Geronimo. I honestly don't know where that came from, but I did it as a kid. And,
me too.
Right.
I think we all did.
Right.
I think we didn't know what cultural appropriation was back then.
Right. You know, I'm running around going, oh, and shit like that. Yeah, right. Geronimo. You know, but
bro, there's this comedian. He's from Tennessee. So I'm going to Tennessee this week. There's this comedian. I don't remember his name, but it's an Asian comedian, but he's from Tennessee, and so he talks like this. Everything he's like, he's like, don't adjust your TV set. This is how I talk. And anyway, he talks about how like when they played Cowboys and Indians, he's like, they always made me the cook.
That's awful.
Like, oh my god, that's so bad. Oh shit. Anyway, go ahead. Finish your story, Marcus.
So the best illustration of how the fuckery of the government is done, it can be illustrated through Geronimo. When you look at any of the propaganda or the shows about the Old West that you can find, because it is all propaganda, because the Cowboys were always good, the Indians were always bad, but one of the primary groups,
unless there was a helpful Indian who helped the Cowboys kill the other Indian.
Tonto no go to town. You know, Tonto should have told that motherfucker to kiss his motherfucking ass. I ain't going shit. You can go your ass to town, get the fuck beat out of you. Tonto ain't going nowhere. Lone Ranger's like, but we need you, Tonto. And he's like, I need your ass too. Get the fuck out. But that's a different story. But at the end of the day, what happened with Geronimo, long story short, is he was ass raped by both the United States government and the Mexican government. They set him, the Mexican government literally murdered his entire family, and the U.S. government tried to murder his entire people. I titled the story of Geronimo, Genocide in Arizona, on purpose, because the U.S. government strategically tried to wipe out the Apache Indians, tried to absolutely destroy that entire tribe and eliminate them from the face of the earth. And Geronimo and his buddies said, go fuck yourself, and fought back. Unfortunately, and one of the things that I say in that, and I'm an emotional person, so it literally made me cry when I was writing that article, because what wound up happening was at one point, Geronimo had fought long enough and he was just done with fighting and he wanted to have peace. And he believed this particular, I think he was a major in the Army, in the United States Army, and he surrendered. unconditionally. He was promised a bunch of stuff. He was promised to be relocated with his people. He was promised to be buried in his homeland, those kinds of things. They lied about all that shit. The moment he laid his weapon down, literally, he put his weapon down, they took him into custody, and he was enslaved for the rest of his life. And that taught me something, because I've written a lot of stories about freedom fighters that have fought. I've written about freedom fighters and studied about freedom fighters that fought. And the one that troubles me the most is Geronimo, because we see what happens when we give up.
Mm-hmm.
And we cannot give up our weapons. We can't, because I don't care if it's a rock. I will fight with a rock. I do a better job with a shotgun, so it is what it is. And one thing I also want to kind of be clear about, because we talk about a lot of freedom-based, anarch-based ideas on this show, I want to be clear. I'm not a gun nut. I'm not somebody that just wants all these guns. I appreciate guns. I own guns, but I'm not a freak about them. I'm a philosopher. This is not, and one of the things I bought it was actually my second firearm I ever purchased, but it's the first one in a long time that I bought last year. And when I went to go buy that, I went with our friend Michael, and I flat out told him, and this is the facts, I said, we're in trouble when I'm going to buy a firearm. And the reason is because I don't particularly like to have firearms. And the fact that I'm buying one means that I'm afraid I'm going to need to use it.
Facts. It's funny you mentioned that, because, man, as soon as 2019, around when all that fuckery was happening with our government, I was like, oh shit, I need a gun. And like, I've been on the prowl since, haven't had the funds for it. But ever since we've gotten this chat with Hotep Daryl, I've been like, all right, I need a gun. And the thing is that the only reason why I've been so like timid on getting guns is because, the grandma, the old people, they always seen it as, oh, my grandmother always says, oh, my grandson doesn't mess with gang, guns, or drugs. Sorry, I disappointed you in two of those aspects. But the thing is that the guns are protection. I need this bitch to turn back to the Wild West, damn it. I need everybody to own a gun. I need my little brothers to know how to own to hold a firearm. I don't need them shooting each other, because that's another fucking incident. But when everybody understands the use of firearms and what they're due, the service is to provide protection. That's the only service. That's the only need a gun is needed for. I told my dad, I was like, yo, we need a gun. It's so funny. Actually, as we speak, in the same house, when I was a kid, a couple of me and my cousins and siblings buried my dad's pistol in the backyard.
Wow.
And we didn't know what it was. We were always thought, nope, nobody's having this gun. Like, we're not about to have guns in this house. And lo and behold, I need to go find that fucking spot. Right? Because this is not okay where we think it's a society that, big fluffy pillows and hugs are going to save us. Like, and what I posted on Twitter yesterday is people's logic is ass backwards. Like, so y'all gonna start talking gun control because a couple people got murked. Okay, well then let's start talking about gun safety. It's the same thing as drugs. It's the same thing as anything else that needs some form of guidance. Like driving, you need a license for that, bitch. What is it? They just posted something saying that I think Tennessee is you don't need a license anymore to carry or something.
Indiana's got it going too.
Yeah, so like if I don't need a license to carry, thank you for not being all in my fucking business. But then again, it's also something you got to worry about because what happens when another nut job gets a gun? So the ramifications behind not having any kind of guidance over it, opposed to it being free reign, is a big thing that needs to be talked about.
Yeah, and again, any kind. Sorry, Chad. Go ahead. I interrupted.
No. It's just I was agreeing. Like it's funny how and they were talking about it before we were Marcus and I were watching before we came on Saul and Corey's show, Purple Pill Politic. They had our guest from last week, Nick Wildstar, and they were talking about how, when somebody gets one of these things happens, a shooting happens or something like that, it's always this talk about like, oh, that, if we can do this with guns and do this with guns and do this with guns, that's going to somehow make that guy who didn't pay attention to any of the laws that already existed about, I don't know, like murdering people, carrying the gun into the place where they didn't allow guns, all these different things like safe zones. Like you have all these things where all it does is it makes it to where, because we've seen it this last year. What do good little obedient people do? They obey. They do what they're told to do.
Yeah.
They go by, even if it's something stupid like wear 2, wear 3, wear 4 masks. They're going to do it. So if you tell them, hey, you can't bring a gun here, that's not who you have to worry about.
Yeah.
The person you have to worry about is the person who doesn't give a fuck what you tell them about where they can bring a gun.
Yep.
And if you don't have anyone there who's prepared to fight back, and if they know you don't have anyone there who's prepared to fight back, you have created a whole little pool, a whole little pond of sitting ducks.
For sure.
And it's like that fucking amusement park, duck, with the little cork gun where you just go pop, pop, just knock the ducks down.
It's like declawing an animal, It's like nature provided
and then putting them back outside. Putting them back outside. Like, okay, yeah, they're not tearing up your upholstery, but they just got fucking maimed by the local town cat.
Yep.
A tomcat. Anyway, what were you gonna say, Marcus? Because
I would no, very similar ideas. Is that people? It doesn't take that much like brain power to figure it out, and people know it. They know it instinctively. I'm sorry to go to it again, but it was a bad day on The Walking Dead when they started taking guns from their community because that's what they had to protect themselves from. People know it. It's in the media. It sneaks through because it's common motherfucking sense.
What did Negan and them do when they first came to Alexandria? They're like, all your guns.
Those are ours.
Those are going in our armor.
Have y'all seen what is it? Zombieland 2?
No.
Oh,
I have. Yeah.
Remember that scene where it was paradise, but they melted all the fucking guns, but you're in a zombie apocalypse?
Yeah. And if we aren't in a zombie apocalypse right now, zombies wear masks sometimes too.
We've been there, man. We're here. And it's not even the mask, it's the phones. It's the phones. Phones have become the true living dead. The people who are living through their phones vicariously and providing random ass personas and shit like that. At the end of the day, man, let's stop. Let's be honest. We are living in a period where people think that we need to take away guns when guns are probably the most needed at this point in time.
Right. And I can't wait. I'm going up into the mountains, into the woods this week. And I can't wait to be able to hear when a zombie comes going and dragging his feet through the branches and the leaves, to hear him.
Right.
And to defend myself before he's biting on my shoulder. No, but I also can't wait to like put the phone away and just kind of not have to deal with some of the shit that is very distracting. Because one of the things it was a very I thought it was a really cool development in human history, in information technology history, when we got to this point where I can email somebody about work from work while I'm there. And I can just, because I travel all over the place, and it was routine that like in the early 2000s, I'd have to figure out whatever it was that I needed to figure out, go back to the hotel, get on dial up on net zero, and wait for it to go and do all that bullshit. And then I would get on there and I would be like, all right, now I can type my email up and send it off. And then I would send the email and they would get it the next morning and they'd be like, hey, that's not what I needed. Can you email me such as I'd be like, fuck. all right, I guess I'm going back to the hotel again because there was no way of getting online like it. And so then when like the iPhone came out, and I was like, this is badass. Now, like, look, if you need me to send you that MSDS, I can send it to you. And so now I can, I was getting shit done. It was awesome. I was super productive. Then the next shoe fell, and the next shoe that fell was the expectation that Twitter's. I mean, yeah, Twitter's its own distraction. No, I'm talking about when you get to the point where with text messaging and email and everybody knowing that shit's in your hand, the expectation is. I've actually had people say, I texted you 2 hours ago. Why haven't you responded? I'm like,
they didn't have time.
Motherfucker.
You know what it is, though? It's because the expectation.
What the fuck do you think this is? Right. Yeah, it is.
Everybody lives on their phone. Everybody lives on their phone now and now. Mm-hmm. So, granted, you still see people who have like 2 or 3 phones because one's business, one's personal, and that's just blowing up. For example, I love everybody, but my phone stay on my hip for 2 reasons. That's music, and to make sure that if anything pop off, I'm there for somebody. I'm sorry I don't text more in the chat. I try to, but
it's
man,
fine.
these days be whooping my ass. But other than that, like it's the expectation of where people have an expectation and it's not reached because they expect so much from you. And it's like, whoa, back it up now. Because guess what? 2 hours ago, I could have been dealing with something whole other than you would have known. You wouldn't have known. And I don't need to disclose that with you. So therefore, take a step back, stop thinking you know everything, and understand and have an understanding for people in their perspective and what they're doing with their lives.
Yep. Sure. And if people are wondering how these things are connected, they are. I also wrote an article a couple years ago about propaganda. And part of that propaganda that I wrote about was the militarization. It was one of the sources I used. One of the militarization of social media. And this is long before any of that came out. They are absolutely programming you to do exactly what Chad's talking about, exactly what Nicco's talking about. They're programming you to every time this thing goes off, I gotta see what the new thing is. And my wife is perfect at this stuff. One of the things that we joke about, and just before people get all kinds of offended, I worked with special needs kids for years. Love special needs kids. If you know a special needs kids, they stare at their fingers. It's just something that they do. All right. So when my kids are acting up and acting a fool, I'll look at it, I'll be like, Anya, quit staring at your fingers. And so when our family comes over to the house and Amber will be like, quit staring at your fingers, because that's what they're doing, is they're staring at their fingers.
It's FOMO.
That's a big part of it too. That's a big part of it is the FOMO element. Like it's like we're dying a death. Yeah, we're dying a death by notification.
Yeah. Yeah, and a couple weeks ago, I went away with my wife, and we had a weekend together. It was wonderful. One of the things I did was put my phone down, set it down, didn't really answer it. I had it, but I didn't really do anything with it. And I think we need that. One of the things that I'm looking forward to coming into springtime is I want to go camping, and I want to get out into the woods and do that kind of stuff. And you got to get away from all this bullshit. At the end of the day, yes, we are fighting the state, and we are fighting this control. But we've said this a million times. I realize that we're like a broken record with it, but it is the truth. The more important things are your family. So that's where your priority should start, is with your family. And defense of your family is part of that. And the moment they start taking away those guns, and we'll probably get into this vaccine. Sorry, I'm using the V word, but the
it is what it is, man. The passport.
Right, the passport.
El pasaporte. Maybe we can say it in Spanish.
Right. El passport. I'm a hillbilly.
It's pasaporte.
Anyway, pasaporte.
El passport.
Actually, my dad recently got. I think he's planning to go to Haiti soon, and he has his card. And the thing is that it's like I haven't paid attention to the news. So as of recently, Asian hate has been a very, very hot and popular thing. Yeah. And no disrespect. I have all love for my Asian brethren and all that. I'm probably wearing their fucking clothing. But did y'all forget about black people? Like, or at least no disrespect, or like, it's crazy, bro. So I was on my way to work, and we work up north, so it's like we have a Chinatown that's named Chinatown, and then further up north, there's another little Chinatown. So it's like we're around a whole bunch of Asians, and he was telling me, my boy Los was telling me on the news that some Asian woman got her ass beat earlier by some dude just randomly, and I'm like, where is this Asian hate? Yeah, where is this Asian hate coming from? If everybody had, and everybody just stood there and watched. Everybody just stood there.
The people, the business, they like went and closed the doors while it was going on.
So
they didn't call anybody or anything.
Instead of somebody being in the Wild West where they have their get and say, "Whoa, what you doing, G?" We all like, oh no, he might roundhouse kick me next. No.
And so I've been watching some of this George Floyd testimony that's coming. So like I'll see every now and then, like I'll get like a notification of like something from, I don't know, USA Today or CNBC or something like that. And they'll just like throw like a little snippet, like 2 a day or something out. And one of them was that there was this person who so they had one today from the counterfeit, the person who took the counterfeit 20 and called on him. But there was somebody else, this girl, who was talking about how she couldn't sleep because she was one of the ones recording and she didn't do anything. And it's just like, that's where we are. It's like, and I get it that like to a certain degree, documenting this stuff and not letting people get away with it and getting it to where people see it makes it to where we know what, but it's not enough. Like you had so many people around there and they could have bum rushed those cops and said, get the fuck off of him, you know? And I get it that we're afraid. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We're afraid because it's like I'm not trying to get like, you know, somebody kneeling on my neck too. But at a certain point, like there comes a breaking point where and I don't think we're there yet. Sadly, like there aren't enough people who are willing to, because you have people, and I've seen it with like this stuff going on with the LP and everything and the vaccine passport. And then it's like the mask stuff and the mandates and all these different things and everything. And you have certain elements within even libertarianism and people who claim to be libertarians who think it's totally okay to shame people over not wearing a mask and to say that this vaccine passport is a good idea. Because if it's private companies that are doing it, then it's okay and all this stuff. And it's like, bro, you don't see that like they've taken this idea of it's just the government. And that's why like shout out to Scott Creighton because he kind of galvanized this for me to a certain degree that like this is this private public partnership, corporatist fascism that we're dealing with now, that like it's not about this, it's a private company bullshit anymore. They're getting funding and subsidies from the government. They're working hand in hand with the government. And I guarantee you, if the governor said tell people that they are not allowed to wear masks anymore, they would be telling people they're not allowed to wear masks.
Sure.
It has nothing to goddamn do with them doing what they think is right. It has everything to do with them avoiding having to pay extra fines, having to get penalized, having their water turned off, having their power cut off, or any of those kinds of things. And so when you get into these scenarios where you have a choice of, okay, do we push back against the police when they're kneeling on a man's neck, or do you have your liberty-based people who are out there telling you that like, well, it's never okay. You know, the stuff that happened at the Capitol, that's not okay. When we burned down businesses all summer, that was okay. People wanted to go join the protests and everything. You have to really kind of take a step back and say, okay, wait a second. who are these people and what are they playing us for? And who are they actually in bed with, or whose side are they on? Because when you had an opportunity to go to a precinct, go to the Fed, go to some of these other places and protest and do stuff there, the push was not as hard as it was when it was some of these private businesses. And then when you actually did have, you had like people protesting, going against the mandates, the lockdown mandates and everything. You had libertarians who didn't want to have anything to do with those people. Why? Because some of them were Trump supporters. It's like,
yeah,
they're fighting against like tyrannical shutting down of people's businesses. And you don't want to side with them, but you're okay with siding with communists and like socialists because they're you think that's like a better outreach vector or something for libertarianism. Get the fuck out of here! Like they're outreach vectors. We've had them all on here. We've had people from the left and people from the right, and people who transcend the left and the right, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have to be that. I don't know. It's like it's really frustrating for me to watch people say things where they have this like plausible deniability. And you know who I'm talking about, this motherfucker who used to run the party.
Ass clown.
Yes. Who will say things with this plausible deniability. It's like, this Nick Sarwark, you motherfucker, you dumb motherfucker. I'm talking about you. Listen, this is what this motherfucker said. He said this would be a good idea for bars to offer a shot for a shot to get people to get the vaccine and get a vaccine card for it.
That's sick.
This is the kind of shit. This is a libertarian. Okay? Get the fuck out of here. I'm fucking done with that bullshit. Go fuck yourself and your fucking vaccine passport worship and your fucking mask worship and all your other goddamn Fauci worship, you cock-sucking piece of shit. I'm fucking done. There's a whole new group of people coming in who are about to fight back against that bullshit. And I hope that we have enough people who have the staying power to see it through. I'm sorry that some of us don't want to have anything to do with the party, but we can still make it happen. I know, Marcus. But anyway, I'm sorry. I got a little.
No, you're right.
That shit fucking pissed me off.
What is it? I have this astrology book, and it's allopathic and homeopathic.
Yeah.
And so the allopathic being the
homeopathic, man. Pause. Homeopathic. Don't say homopathic, man. Come on now.
That's
how fucking tired I am. You know how tired I am. Thank you for the correction, Siri.
I'm sorry. No, Siri would correct it to homopathic, probably.
Right.
But it's the allopathic are the cures that kill you, while the homeopathic are the ones that are not to kill you, but you die from the disease. So you die from the disease because of the fact that the remedy wasn't strong enough, or the disease takes over. Where has the disease taken over? We're all passing away from what is being administered, which is the cure, which is the thing. There's been more oopsie daisies. What is it? Didn't Pulitzer or whatever that goofy ass company just 12-year-olds?
Oh, Pfizer.
Yeah. They okayed.
They said it was 100% effective.
I saw that.
I was like, oh really? Okay.
I saw that, and I'm like,
fuck did you know that?
Okay. Wait, no. They had a test trial of like 14 kids. 14? Are you kidding?
Hey, trust science. Trust the science, Nicco. You have
sold that shit too.
My bad. My bad. I'm disrespecting Einstein, I guess. But the point being is that it's like we all stuck in. Not we all. They are all stuck in the idea that this cure that's going to be provided for the American people, not even the American people, the people around the world, and there's beyond evidence. The evidence is the cure is stupidity. Cure stupidity. That's all it is. Cure the lack of common sense being used.
Right.
There's only one way to do that, though, I'm afraid. And that is to just let shit happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's how common sense develops. You know, like I've had this battle with my wife for a long time, especially with my boys, less so with my daughter, because she just like kind of has like this more intuitive, like, I'm gonna stay away from danger. Like, I'm not saying that's about all girls. I'm just saying no, it's not, because I know there's some reckless girls out there too. But my boys are like, test the limits. And my wife is like, tell him to stop doing that.
He'll learn.
I'm like, no, man, he'll learn. That's it. Look, my grandfather used to say that. His thing was, you'll learn.
Trial by fire, baby.
Like, that's right.
You see the kid put his after he done smacked his hand a few times from the fire, and you see him put it in. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna let you try that out and see how it worked for you.
Yeah, and there's certain things where, like, if what they're about to do is gonna kill them or maim them horribly or something like that, you know. But like, I'm sorry, let them play on the monkey bars. Let them play on the jungle gym. Let them try to jump off the swing.
A broken arm will do them good.
And they might break something, but it'll heal. Shit, my little boy, he's not little anymore. He's 15. Oh, go ahead.
No, finish your story, Chad. Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying, no, he broke his foot twice before he was 3.
What's
jumping
off
his shit. He hadn't broken anything since. No, he hadn't broken anything since. But like, he was, I got him.
Wow.
I got a picture of him in a full leg cast at 18 months old, and he was on top of the kitchen counter. He had climbed the stools, because my thinking was like, oh, that'll teach him when he broke his foot the first time. Like, no, motherfucker was on the kitchen counter in his cast. He climbed up there anyway. He was like, hey, I don't give a fuck.
Curiosity kills
he can't break the other one. Go ahead, Marcus.
I think he froze.
Marcus. Elsa got him. All right.
We need to give him a VPN. Let's get a VPN sponsor, boys.
He needs a stronger connection. Yeah, we see you a little bit. You're kind of blurry. You're like Bigfoot.
We hear you.
Can you hear me though?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay.
All right. Asking if we can hear you. God damn it. We said yes.
Okay. Christopher Titus said of this, that what you're talking about is the difference between a father and a mother. And the difference is, he said that when it's a mother and the child is walking straight for the outlet, the electrical outlet with a fork, the mom says, don't do that, grabs their hand, smacks their hand, says, don't do that, and pushes them away. The father goes, don't do it. He sees the kid going for it, goes, and the mom's like, no, we got to stop him. And he's like, wait a minute.
Nope. Hold on, son.
Don't do that again, will you?
Yeah, no.
He looked at you like, why didn't you stop me? Nah, you wanted to.
Yeah, I will make an allowance for, like, if he's gonna run out into traffic or something like that, right. I'm gonna do this number. Be like, hey, chill, hang on. Right. put an arm bar out. And be like, no, hang on. Let this car. Now you see that car? You would be fucking splattered on the ground if you had kept going.
Sure.
Now, don't ever do that again.
Yeah, for sure. And it occurs to me that that's what we're looking for, or at least what others are looking for from the state, is the big mommy to step in. They use those kind of imagery anyway, and they're looking for to be mothered. I'm an adult. I can handle myself. Sure, I'm gonna fuck up once in a while, but I can handle myself. Right. I can get being under control when you're 12. I'm 46 years old. I think I know how to live in this world. Leave me the fuck alone. And at the end of the day, that's what all of this is about. It is about, I can handle myself, and I don't need some big parent to tell me otherwise. Actually talking about parents, the mother is actually trying to stop you from getting hurt. The government isn't actually trying to stop shit.
Right.
They're trying to grow their power and do whatever they can do to pull your power away from you. So there is a difference between that mothering nature and what government does, but it's
Marcus
still trying to treat us like it's our mom.
Yeah. No, it's trying to act like it uses the motherly instinct as like a guise for its
that's exactly it. They use the facade of, we're trying to save you guys.
From here, I want
Marcus, hang on, man. We can't. You're breaking up real bad.
Marcus looks like
you might need to get out and come back in or something like that.
Get ready for like a double dutch. He's like trying to jump in, jump back. He's like, all right, I got it, boys. Nah, you still jumping back and forth, buddy.
Marcus, get out and come back in. But yeah, so like I do want to take it. I think he was about to take it to hey, look at that. You're all sexy now. Oh, look at Marcus.
Hey, is your neighbor on your Wi-Fi or something? Like
we have like 3 Wi-Fis and I just switched to one of the other ones.
Okay. Well, stay on this one next time because this one's better.
I
can see you.
With you, I guess.
Yeah. Felicia went and changed which router you were connected to. Yeah, so I think where you were going with this was to kind of shift gears a little bit back more into like the gun conversation because that's where we're supposed to be. But yeah, so we were talking about this before, and we were watching Saul and Corey and Nicholas Wildstar, and the question came up about like how much should people be able to have, and I think I was more. It was crazy because like of the 3, Nick's the libertarian, and I was more in line with like what Saul was saying about like I should be able to have whatever the government is allowed to have, and then some, whatever the military is allowed to have, and then some. Like I would even go further and say and then some, because here's what I think. I think whatever they have is more than what they're telling us.
Yeah, it's child's play. We know this.
So they have the Death Star somewhere. Like, we got to have at least 1 billion X-wings to be able to take that bitch down.
Right.
You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this passport that they're bullshitting around with, that's exactly why we need guns.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the fucking day, where do you draw the line? I draw the line a whole long time ago, and I've been saying fuck you to the government for a very long time. But where do you draw the line? When they start taking when they took bump stocks under Trump, did you bitch or did you say, oh, it's Trump and he's gonna, or did you fight?
I had a friend who told me that bump stocks were unnecessary and that they needed to. He went into like this, kind of almost a common sense argument and all this shit, and there were even like people who were like, bump stocks are stupid anyway. Why do you need a bump stock and all this stuff? It's like, who fucking cares? Like, it doesn't goddamn matter. Like, if that's what I want to have on my shit, then I should be able to have it. It says shall not be infringed, motherfucker. That's all.
It is very simple.
Like, it's simple.
It's the
shall not be
easiest
infringed.
one. Right.
Like Eric July says, all gun laws are infringements. All of them. Every one of them is an infringement.
Facts. No, they've been, and it's like, where do we understand, like, the Indians got wiped out due to disease and lack of firepower. Have we not taken lessons from history?
Sure.
Has history not been... I swear to God, when I was a child, I was told, follow history because that tells you where your future's going. That legit tells you, we're in Rome, this bitch falling. So, therefore, let's not have a repeat of the Trail of Tears where we're all the motherfucking Indians and we just get our shit taken.
Oh, you can't say that. You can't say that. Ask the Kentucky Libertarian Party, because they made the mistake of saying, like, is this vaccine passport going to be a gold star that you wear on your and whoa boy, they are like they're making national headlines now.
Actually,
that's how this shit starts, though.
Mm-hmm. Actually, there was a Holocaust survivor that said,
"Yes,
no
I saw that video. Shit. I saw that video where she's like, this is worse. Yeah, she's like, because at least then we knew they hated us and they were coming after us. She's like, they're telling you it's for your own good.
Yep, they learn.
Man, like if it's coming from somebody who survived what's worse than what you going through, but it's actually worse now.
Yeah,
I want a foam finger that's actually a hand, and I just want to go smacking people. A fat hand. A fat hand.
Foam and pimp hand.
Look, man, I don't want to get too much into this because it's already kind of a little bit of a dicey situation. But like, let's just say I know someone who got a phone call this week about willingness to travel internationally and how that would work in terms of their job. Wow. And the question was about like, that sort of thing. And so it really, kind of starts to hit home as to like back to this fascist corporate, this private public partnership corporatist sort of construct that's been built, which is you don't have to kick someone's door down and stick something in their arm. You just have to make it to where they have to figure out another way to make money. Otherwise, they don't get to, they don't get to if they don't do what you want them to do.
Right.
Or then you eventually get to the point where, and I'm not saying I completely agree with everything that Gab is all about or anything like that, but like, I respect Andrew Torba. Like, I think that like, if you look at what he's doing, what he's trying to do, and where he's coming from a place where he's a Christian. He's a devout Christian who like really, really is hardcore about like restoring that stuff. Now, there's some of the stuff where he goes too far for me, where he's almost into like, if we could enforce some of this stuff, it would be better. Like, I'm like, I mean, okay, like if everyone did what you want them to do, I think society might be better. But I think as soon as you start trying to force people to do what you want to do, society automatically becomes worse. even if it's to make everyone act like angels. If you said like everyone should act like angels or they go in jail,
I don't want to act like angels.
Then people are going to be like, you know what? I was going to be like an angel, but just because you said I have to be, now I'm not.
That's the natural.
It's a natural thing. No, I am too. But I'll say this: like, watch what's happened to them. Look at what's happened to them. They first were taken off of the social medias. Okay, they had accounts removed. They made their own thing. They were taken off the app stores. They got canceled by banks. They got canceled by Stripe and Square, and I can't remember like Patreon and like all these different places where like ways that you can get paid for what you do. Right. They got canceled by all these things. Okay, so you follow that to its logical conclusion. I don't know how many of y'all have watched Black Mirror.
Yeah.
But I watched all the way through. Unfortunately, I made the mistake of watching the final season. I hope it's the final season because if they keep fucking going on this trajectory, I don't want to watch it anymore. But there's a couple of episodes that really stuck out to me. There's one where it's where you can like block people and like you don't see them; they just show up as fuzzy.
Yeah.
They disappear, and then it's like,
earlier.
And then it like might be your uncle, and you can't even see him anymore to tell that they're like, look, I'm really sorry. I'm trying. Like, forgiveness is just out of the. Forgiveness and reconciliation are completely off the books. We can't do that shit anymore in this scenario. Okay. And I still don't mind Hotep Jesus' block strategy because these are like complete strangers that I don't know them anyway. And they just come in and talk shit on my timeline. What happened?
Oh, you shit. No. Like as Hotep, he don't owe nobody shit. Like,
oh yeah, no, right. I don't owe you shit. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there's that episode, but then the other one that was really the one with Bryce Dallas Howard, where it's the social credit score thing,
Mm-hmm.
where like people like are sitting there just by like your interaction in the elevator, and they'll just like downvote you or upvote you or whatever, and it's like, well, you're only a 4.2, you can't come to this party,
Right.
that kind of shit. And then it's like, okay, then somebody won't pick you up on the side of the road if you're stranded. They won't help you because you're a 2.8, and then you just start getting to this point where it makes us even more and more polarized by like this class system, based on this social credit score. And if you think that through to its logical conclusion, as we start to do these sorts of vaccine passports and all these other things, where we're headed is a society where, oh, you think that you shouldn't have to get the vaccine? Oh, well, then you just won't be able to eat.
Right.
Want to eat? Get this thing.
Yep.
And then you'll be one of us. We'll all be robots together. We'll all be fucking androids together.
We're in it together.
What is it? My little brother was showing me a TikTok, and and I know this is like completely diverging from it, but it was a trans woman that was saying that she doesn't need to tell you that she's trans.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So yeah, and so like I was like, where logic come in? And then there was this guy who,
gay people don't even fuck with that shit.
Yeah.
There was a cisgender woman who agreed with it, and like I was like, oh yeah, so we don't have to apply logic no more. So I can legit come around here and act like an idiot, and I'm gonna use this word only because y'all try censoring it. And sorry for all the people there, because I love everybody, but I can act like a retard if I want to, and get away with it. And like, you don't gotta question it at all, because I don't owe you nothing. I don't owe y'all nothing, because if I did owe you something, which is logical explanation on why I'm acting like this, then it's like baffling how we've just really have stumbled down 100 flight of steps, and people are like, "Oh, look at him go! Oh, he's picking up speed! Like, slow down!"
Right.
The thing is with all of this, I just want to scream to the Raptors, and this is coming from me. I'm a vowed occultist. That's what I do. That's my religion.
Mm-hmm.
Where the fuck are the Christians? Where are they at? Can no one not see how this is lining right into the mark of the beast?
They all got told they couldn't go to church, and they obeyed.
I know.
They all got told. They all got told, and it wasn't just them. Like I got to be honest. Like I'm going through like an honest, like sort of like existential struggle as we speak on this, because when you watch the places that you go to church and everything, just like shut down. And then they even had this thing where like, if you felt like you were afraid and you didn't want to go, you could put like a picture of yourself up at the church, and it was like you were there. And like watching all the things like I don't know, look, I'm Catholic, okay? I don't know when, if ever again, it will be okay to actually like drink the from the cup of Christ's blood. Like I don't know when that's ever going to be like. And to think of that, to think that that's a thing that people would just be like, yeah, we can do without that. Because, meanwhile, like in flu season and everything else, everybody just was going up like all the years before, with everything else that anything might have been going on. I was watching people, going up and, coughing and sneezing and everything on their way up there, and, still, doing everything. It's just very, very discouraging and disheartening for me to watch that sort of stuff happen. And then, knowing all the stuff that I know too about like the hierarchy and how, where some of the Vatican investments are, in some of the pharmaceutical companies and stuff like that. It's very, I don't know. I'm in a tough spot. I'm not going to lie. I'm in a tough spot. I still believe, like we were talking about before we came on, Marcus, like the whole deist sort of mindset on it. I definitely believe in God.
Gotcha.
I'm struggling with some of these humans.
Well, for me, and this what's funny, Chad, is I'm actually kind of moving the other direction. It's kind of funny because for me,
that's awesome.
I've all the time been like, fuck a bunch of Christianity. For me personally, whatever somebody else wants to believe, great. But when they start proving that shit factual, like looking out your door and seeing that, I had a meeting at work, and where I work is all kinds about like anything the government says. Where I work, they just suck it down. They did masks, all the shit. They got it all. So we had a meeting for what it seemed like no reason. Like it was an unusual meeting. I thought, oh fuck, here comes, you got to get a vaccine. I was like, well, it sucks that I'm not gonna have a job soon. I was just getting like this job, and they didn't, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
But that's coming, and if you don't think that it's not coming, if you think that it is not coming, then you are not paying attention. Yeah, exactly.
You sounded like that guy on Beavis and Butthead Through America.
My wife,
like, if you think that it's not coming. If you don't not think that it's, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What were you saying, Pico?
My white mama. Shout out to Mama.
Oh yeah. I forgot about her. Yeah.
She got the tap because her job said that they need to have it, and I'm like, yo, just like a week ago, you and me were like shooting the shit, saying fuck the vagine, and all of a sudden you hit me right here, Doc, and I'm like, whoa! Can we take a step back? Can we understand the science behind it? Like,
they complied to masks, man.
Bro, so one of the other things, and this is like me and my wife both, like we've had serious issues with this. First of all, like they shut all the churches down for months. And it was like YouTube church when they finally came back. Like first they like didn't do anything, and then when they finally came back, it was like, hey, you can watch mass on YouTube. And I was like, okay, can I do that like all the time then? Like, what's the point of like going if I can watch shit on YouTube all the time, and like going to communion doesn't matter anymore, and all this other stuff that that anyway, it was very weird, like how like very quickly stuff that was sacrosanct became not really that important because of sneezes. And I'm not trying to minimize any, like, I know there's people who've had like people go through it, and then people who have like either come close to, or even, even lost someone and everything. I'm not trying to minimize that. But if we look at this, like in the big picture, in the grand scheme of things, my new mantra is, I just don't think it's worthy of being this afraid. Secondly, when you go to mass, finally they start letting us go to mass again, and we're sitting, this is like before Christmas, all right, so we're like leading up, like through Advent season, we're leading up to Christmas. And I know this, sorry guys, we're supposed to be talking about guns, but
it's related.
This is part of the conversation.
This is why we need guns.
This is why we need guns, right? This is why we need guns, because this is just what they do is they take your institutions that you believe in, and that you have invested yourself in, you've invested your faith and your energy in, and your love into, and they take them from you, and nobody does anything about it.
Right.
And at what point are we going to draw the line? So what I was going to say is, I'm sitting there, and it's time for the prayers of the faithful. And, such and such, blah, 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 whatever, for these people who, who are going through it, whatever. We pray for them, blah, 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 whatever. Lord, hear our prayer, okay. All right. Then, for the research on a new vaccine, I'm like, motherfucker, listen, I have been reading about this shit for years. I know the shit that goes into these things. You're not about to get on that fucking podium and tell me about some shit that's got like aborted fetal tissue in it. and everything.
God
And you're
knows
going to
what
talk to
else.
me about being pro-life, about abortion and everything else. And you're going to talk to me about, like, you're praying for the shit that these fucking pharmaceutical companies are making with this aborted fetal tissue in it. I like, it was all the composure and the strength that I had in me to not just walk the fuck out.
Yeah.
Right then and there.
Let me lay something out for you, Chad. And because this occurred to me, it's something I've known for a long time. But let me lay it out for you what they're doing. Number one, they're using the churches as they should. Someone mentioned earlier that the people were afraid to lose their tax exempt status. They certainly saw that.
That's dead on.
Yeah, for sure. But what they're doing, people are going to think I'm nuts. I don't care. At the end of the fucking
I love
day,
you because you're nuts, Marcus. God damn it.
Right.
That's why I'm here.
But at the end of the fucking day, these are rituals. Whether you're talking about Christian rituals or you're talking about pagan rituals or whatever you're talking about, there is a component. In the Kabbalah, they talk about one of the things that in a book called 777 by Aleister Crowley, he lines out the most important thing to get you started is Malkuth. On the tree of life, it is the lowest portion of of where humanity is. Long story short, it's where you start. And the labor of preparation is the magical power that's associated with Malkuth. What that is the physical representation of Godhead. It's kind of like a fake it until you make it kind of idea. You do this physical thing. To use the Catholic,
you put in the energy,
the Christian symbolism. Correct. You're putting that forward, and to use the Catholic symbolism, you're taking the cup, the blood of Christ, and you're drinking it. You're bringing deity into yourself. Now, everybody knows that more than likely that is nothing more than grape juice or wine or whatever it is for your. But the point is, when you are in a different plane, when you are no longer in Malkuth, when you are farther up the tree, that when you die, that is training for you to take Jesus into yourself, to bring that spirit into your being. And because you have not been given that training, they have separated, because there is a white school of magic. There's actually a white school, a yellow school, and a black school. The yellow school is just playing around. So that's the way it is.
They don't have a brown school, Nicco.
No,
sorry.
Right. You're right.
Right. For sure.
I was just shouting us back to the Hotep With It episode.
Yes, sir.
For sure. Right. But the white school is trying to unite itself with Godhead. The black school is trying to separate.
The white school always listens to the black
and
school in all the sports movies. Come on.
right, for sure. But
except for Hoosiers.
But what the black
Hoosiers Hoosiers the little white school one. No, I'm sorry.
That is true. Which, by the way, my ex-wife went to the school that was about.
Oh, for real? The one?
Right,
oh,
yeah.
damn.
Yeah.
Damn. Oh, that's right. You're in fucking Indiana. Yeah.
Right.
You're in. Have you seen that Charles Barkley commercial where they're going to, I gotta send it to you if you haven't seen it, where he's like, we're in Indianapolis. Like, no, we're going to Indianapolis. He's like, oh shit. Right. They're in Maryland.
Right. So
all right, go ahead.
So what they have, the black school's job, what the black school is trying to do, these are black brothers. These are people that are against God, if you will, or nature, or whatever it is. But basically, they are trying to separate Godhead from this world, trying to make a division from those two things. And the white school is trying to unify those things. And what they do by not allowing you to learn the ritual is when it counts, because this place is temporary. We are all going to die. I know that's shocking, but this place is temporary. And when you are going to the next level, you need to be able to level up. And how you do that, one of the first symbols is to ingest the power of God, no matter what system you're talking about. The whole idea of communion is in every religion. It is practiced everywhere because it is associated with that next level. So what they're doing by removing that symbolism from not only you, because you'll remember it, but from your children and your children's children, is they are preparing to separate the earthly world from the heavenly world. And if they ever do that, we will have hell on earth. And for some of these people, that is exactly what they're trying to do.
Fuck, man, you fucking me up right now. God damn,
y'all not ready. Like
I gotta. So now I gotta ask the follow up question to that, which is, all right. So a person in my position, you know, the upbringing that we've given to my kids and everything, like, what do I do? What's the
continue your life? Continue on.
Well, no, but like in terms of that, like from like that ritualistic standpoint, like to kind of bridge that gap, I guess. Marcus,
if
Nicco,
I were you, Nicco, you got this?
I would love to. I mean, I don't know to the depth of you, but at the end of the day, continue your life in the practices that you are doing. You're not doing anything wrong when you're trying to follow along the guidelines of elevating yourself and getting closer to Christ.
Okay. Yeah.
Thought is what creates reality. When you continuously live on that thought process, that wavelength of trying to be like Jesus, and Jesus was nobody else but somebody who was a saint, somebody who was always trying to provide something righteous, something good. When you continue that thought, continue that energy, continue giving into that energy, you are going to match it. Granted, if you don't know everything, because God don't want you to know everything on this bitch. If you knew everything on this bitch, you'd be insane, legit, broken in the mental. So
that's why I think so many people go crazy, is because they're like, this is fucked up. This place is backwards as hell.
Man,
and why the fuck am I here?
Let me tell you. So once you keep going on that path, it doesn't matter if you follow Buddhism, if you follow Christianity, if you follow fucking voodoo, hoodoo, Santeria, it don't fucking matter. Each one of those religions teach you to be a better person. End of the day, that's it. That's all. But when you fall into those negative levels, those negative vibrations, those negative thought processes where they keep coming around over and over and over again, you're only going to live what Marcus said, hell on earth. You're going to come straight back to this bitch just so you can learn a lesson. All this shit is a fat old lesson. It's just a big lesson so that you gain the knowledge so you can be able to advance to the another elevation of thought, which would be the 4D. You know, we're in the 3D, so therefore when we're stuck in the 3D parallel, we have limitations, you know, the thought limitation, the physical limitation, but this shit is amazing. The 3D is amazing. You feel me? So when you go to the 4D, you gain more senses, you gain more understanding, but you start out as a baby. Everything is a fucking cycle. When you take the cycle and understand that even though cycles end, so at the end of your life, the cycle will end. There's a in the Maya theory, your heart is balanced on a scale to a feather. How the fuck is your heart going to be lighter than a feather? It's impossible. But the thought process is when you have nothing heavy on your heart, nothing heavy on your mind, nothing heavy weighing you down, you get to understand that there's more to the game. You're always leveling up. Even when you're God, you're still leveling up. God knows everything but nothing at the same time. You always have to understand that.
Well, mother is a god to a child. And at the end of the day, we don't know what God is. You know, we like to pretend like we do, but we don't. A couple things. First of all, Chad, I agree with Nicco, but what I would do, given I'm not Catholic and in part of the Catholic ritual is getting it from a priest and all of those things. Maybe you become
Catholic, you practice voodoo,
right? This is true, but a lot of Catholic ritual is going to the church and doing all that stuff. So it may be that you just need to be some kind of weirdo Protestant where you do Catholic rituals in your house for yourself. Because if you need that connection, do that fucking connection. Second thing I wanted to talk about is actually has a lot to do with what they're talking about in the chat. I generally almost always agree with Natasha, except for this once. And that is, existence is pure joy. All the sorrows are but as shadows. They pass and are done. There is that which remains. This world is not hell. This world is as joyful as you want it to be. You have to take the reins of that and continue it. You have to decide. There is a lot of bullshit.
She was talking about a friend of hers, I kind of agree.
Maybe
like,
I missed that.
There are times where like my wife has bouts with that where she's just like, I'm ready to fucking go. Like, I'm done with this place.
Sure.
And it's, look, I don't know, because I haven't been through some of the really, really bad shit that like previous generations have gone through. But we had a solid, like, probably 3 generations, I think, of like people not having to go through the kind of shit like this, like on our soil where this shit is going on. You have to go back to probably, it may be farther than that. You have to go back to like Civil War times. Because the rest of the stuff was like people going overseas and doing shit over there, but everybody here was, we're kind of like, it's kind of like the shit that we've been doing for the last 20 years. But now this stuff is like, they're really trying to lock people down and like keep people in their houses and let you do shit. And like, this friend of mine is getting this phone call asking if he's willing to travel internationally. He's a very good friend of mine. We're very close.
I got it.
But anyway, it's hard to not think that it's hell on Earth, that Earth is hell. Because there's some of this stuff that's like really fucking, it has been unimaginable. And I wonder if that's because we've gotten so soft that like something this really, I mean, it's inconvenient, it's difficult, but Jesus Christ, like, it's not like we're in fucking Beirut, those motherfuckers are going through, or Yemen or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, there's people who like, they're literally having their homes blown open on a nightly basis,
right?
By
our government,
by them, by
right?
Damn it, Nicco got me.
But the thing is that they still manage to find the joy in their life, even though. So therefore, you always have to take the shit that you take for granted and shove it down your fucking throat. Like, you always have to swallow your complaints about life until you understand somebody's life is always worse than you, but that motherfucker always able to smile. There's a homeless man who's going fucking through it right now.
Bro, I've talked about this.
Dog and having a great fucking time.
I had a dude I used to play. We had this little like park, basketball court where we used to run full court. I used to go like, got off of school, I'd play until the sun went down at this park. And this one dude, I mean, he was ridiculous. He was really good. Got in a car wreck. He was like probably 17 or something like that. Got in a car wreck, paralyzed from the waist down, in a wheelchair all the time. The first time I ever saw him after that injury and everything, because like he didn't come out to the park anymore. I didn't know where he lived. I just heard people saying like, yeah, did you hear Scott got in a wreck and blah, blah, blah. And we just didn't see him coming out anymore. I saw him a couple of years later. First time I ever saw him, we were at a Cracker Barrel. And I'm like, is that Scott? And I see him over there and he's like, dude, I've never seen someone so like overflowing with joy and like love.
Good.
And I was like, bro, how are you? Like, you're happier than I am, and I'm walking. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, this dude is happier than I am.
Be grateful.
Yeah, and it was a trip for me. So I mean, you're definitely right there. Like, so much of this is what we make it, and we do have a certain level of like influence and power over this to change our circumstance for the better, and to even like manifest shit that's like beneficial to us and everything. But like,
that's the reason why we're here.
As we go back to this gun conversation, as people start to shove this stuff they start to make it to where it becomes less of a shove and more of what was that guy's name? The fucking guy who used to work for the Obama administration. Shit. I can't remember his name. It'll come to me eventually. But anyway, he said instead of a shove, sometimes it's just a nudge that's needed. Mm-hmm. And that's where some of this comes from. It's like this corporatist fascist push comes from like you can own guns if you want. You just can't eat if you own guns, or you can't have a job if you own guns. Like, it just seems like that might be where some of this shit is headed. For sure. And where like this background check stuff starts to come into, like, you know, your work is going to get a notification like, hey, did you know that Marcus just applied to get an AK-47?
Marcus ain't gonna apply for shit.
No, I know. But I'm just
Marcus
saying,
gonna find a friend and buy one.
No, I know, but like it's.
I know what you're saying.
So again, back to Daryl. Like, shout out to Daryl. I really have to get on the ball and get on my my 3D printer and buying plastic game, because that's like I've already talked to my oldest son about it. Like, he's got some stuff he wants to design some shoes and stuff. I was like, all right, we're going to 3D print shoes. Okay. All right, let's see. I'm going to have to get some special, like rubber plastic or whatever, some stuff that's not, because that shit will hurt like a motherfucker if you try to walk around shoes made out of that 3D printing plastic. But no, so like he's already got some ideas of like some different things that he wants to pursue with that. And it's not terribly expensive to get started on that. So what, I've asked this question, I think this will be the third time. What is too much for a regular, everyday human being to own in terms of firepower?
Nothing at all. Actually, I believe I should be able to have a fucking nuke if I wanted. To be honest, like if
Nicco has been an anarchist libertarian all along.
Look,
motherfucker.
Look,
yes, sir.
I don't think that the people that who govern the governed. So basically, the people who govern the military, who govern the police force, should have had all the guns in the first place. Like, at the end of the day, protection comes from the first yourself. If it's not from a fucking gun, it's from your fucking fist. And it's not from your fist, it's from your mental. What they do is they take that away from you and say, yeah, no, protection's only for the people who hit that 911 call. No. And so what they psychologically have done is trick people into thinking, okay, well, whenever I'm in danger, call the police. No, whenever I'm in danger, I'm getting my fucking self out of that situation first. Myself and my people.
Yep.
I'm not going to wait on if Michael Myers pulled up, I'm going to call the police and be like, hey, yo, this nigga at my door with a knife and he trying to slash me.
He's going to die.
No, I'm going to drop an anvil on his head and watch him go kaput.
What does Adam say? When seconds count, the police are only minutes away.
Right, exactly. And the thing is, it's no different when you're talking about the what is true in the microcosm is true in the macrocosm. As above, so below. It's the same. The thing is, what he's talking about with police is true of the military. The reason Japan didn't invade the continental United States is because there would be a gun behind every blade of grass. It didn't have a fucking thing to do with the ships. It didn't have a fucking thing to do with the military. They knew that if they came into this country, they were going back home bloody as shit. That's what they knew, and that's the end of the day. And that has not changed. And China is a much, much more dangerous enemy than Japan ever was.
Facts.
Yeah, and it's why Vietnam went the way that it did. I used to think it was why Iraq went the way that it did, although I'm beginning to kind of pivot my stance a little bit on that I think this has all been like by design, that like we didn't fuck up and like not win hard enough in Iraq and Afghanistan. We just didn't fucking want to leave.
No.
Like, why the fuck would we leave? Like,
there's too many goodies there.
We've got like we're occupied. We have just expanded our territory. Like, why the fuck would we leave? Like,
it's
it's risk.
It's like America still
it is. It's like
Hawaii or anything else. Like, Hawaii's its own little dig, but since America is the big boy with the stick, you gonna listen to the big boy with the stick, or he gonna pull up on you. It's asinine how we just sit here and be like, yep, they got it because they're going to take care of us. When was the last time America has proved itself? When? Because from my knowledge, and look, I haven't been studying history for a minute. I actually, fun fact, I didn't do so hot with my Constitution test or anything else along that matter. But guess what? I know about my rights more than half you goofy motherfuckers who probably passed it with flying colors.
No shit. No shit.
They were studying for a test.
They're studying that bullshit ass Constitution. They're studying that bullshit ass Constitution, and you're just thinking
common sense.
You're just thinking to yourself, like, what should I, as Nicco, be willing and able to do to get what Nicco needs and wants?
Facts.
And if I'm not fucking anybody else's shit up, then my thought process on this should be ice cold, right? Like, it should just be like perfect. And that's what people don't think. People are too willing to go back. And that's why, if you look at the educational system and how they do all this stuff, it's set up to make you think that, well, no. And it pisses me off when I hear people talk about the Constitution as though it's like the supreme everything. Yeah. And it's like, bro, like, there's tons of shit, A, missing from that in terms of protection of rights, and B, added to that motherfucker that should not be having anything to do with, like, there's all kind of shit in the Constitution about what type of taxation, where it's going to come from, what type of activity gets taxed, and all that kind of shit. It's like, wait, where's this shit going, and who's getting it and everything? But so, like, to Tim's point here, he says he likes what Hotep Jesus said when they say we need to ban assault rifles. Tell them no, we need to ban Gatling guns and tanks. So I brought that up because I wanted to go to the piece that I wanted to bring up, which is, I think that whether it's rocket launchers, grenades, tanks, F-15s, whatever, I don't know, whatever the fucking biggest ass shit there is, if each individual is not capable or is not allowed to match muscle for muscle with what's in the U.S. military or in any other foreign military, okay, then how are we supposed to, like, effectively defend ourselves against a fascist, tyrannical, Maoist type of overthrow where we end up the subject of some communist regime or some other sort of dictatorial regime? And furthermore, if you think that, oh, that's too much, individuals shouldn't be able to have a rocket launcher. You're saying that Nicco should be able to have a rocket launcher? Nicco should be able to have a tank? Nicco should be able to have my response is, well, what's so bad about them? And if they're so bad, then why does the military get to have them?
And then wait. Can we not, or matter of fact, but so that is, can we point out the fact that, like, majority of the people that go to the military, and I'm not saying all the people, because there's some smart motherfuckers that they decide to keep in the labs, but the people who go pew pew don't go so hot on their ASVAB tests, or if they are, they're completely batshit crazy and sent in to do silent killing ass missions and things of that nature. Like, they break them, and then, you see the movies where they, oh, look at the jarhead. He's a fucking idiot, but he gets to pull the trigger.
Right.
What sense does it make for us to give the people who can shoot lead and end people's lives just like that?
Well, and to put the fear right front and center for everybody. So if you voted for Biden, all right, so you're okay with Trump having that button?
Right.
And if you voted for Trump, you're okay with Biden having that button?
Right.
But not you having it?
Like, have we not, like, learned, like, you know what? That's a good guy to put in office. I don't think he's gonna. That man is smashing
every fucking time.
Button.
And the only reason that shit hasn't happened is because that guy didn't really have that button. there's some other people who are way more powerful than whoever that is.
He
who have
forgot
that
about the
button.
button. What's that dude?
And who-
They're like, no, Mr. Biden, no.
And who tell that person when and when not to push that button.
Right. Let's be clear. If Biden actually had access to the button, he'd be like, I want a Coke. Give me a Coke.
He'd be like, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Right. Ah!
And what is that? What just happened?
He'd be in the Oval Office telling a story about his hairy legs, and next thing you know, fucking Luxembourg would be off the map.
Man, it's very, very sick and saddening that we as a people, as a whole, have been like, man, I don't think that we deserve guns. I don't think we deserve protection. So basically,
all right, Nicco, you're about to get kicked out of the show. No, I'm saying you just said we don't deserve guns. I'm saying I'm about to kick you out.
So basically, let's take away everybody's kitchen knives and give them butter knives and show them how to cut things.
Again, treating us like they're our mothers.
You feel me? Let's matter of fact, I work with asbestos. So matter of fact, let's burn every single building that has that and just call it a day and just hope that it doesn't get in the air and kill everybody. Fun fact, there's a little bit of asbestos everywhere, just not enough to kill y'all. Right. Let's see. What else is deadly in your house?
But James Sokolov will help you if you have mesothelioma. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, because
we've all seen that ad at 3 o'clock in the
government was like, you know what? Let's put these little chrysotile ass rocks and put them in absolutely everything.
Everything.
So that everything. Kids' toy.
Bro, it's on every safety video I watch when I go to one of these bills. It's
right
like
before 1981 or 1980s. If anything was built before the 90s. So my grandmother's crib probably decked out with a whole bunch of asbestos.
Yep.
So
no doubt.
We all think we're living all jolly good. The government out here killing you without you fucking even knowing your house could kill you.
Bro, you know how many FDA approved drugs have like killed hundreds of thousands of people? Millions of people? It's insane. Like it's
disgustingly insane.
I want to dive into
to think that the CDC and the FDA are like this beacon of truth and health and safety is like it was funny. My daughter was telling me about at school they had some videos about some company saying that they were going green or whatever, and all of her classmates were like, I don't know, this sounds like propaganda by the company saying that they're gonna, but I don't know if I believe it. And she was like, but you believe Pfizer and Moderna
right.
and Johnson and Johnson and AstraZeneca? Like, come on, are you fucking joking?
Well, it comes back to the same fucking quote, and these quotes that I put out on our fucking Twitter all the time.
Goated.
They're truth and fucking, but it goes back to Spooner. Do you not think that the same people that are capable of tyranny are capable of perjury to sustain it? Come on.
Right.
These motherfuckers are bound to lie. It's part of it. And at this point, we can't even tell where these drug companies and the government ends and begins. We don't know.
Right.
No, right. Right, and it was funny. We were talking about this stuff on Clubhouse. Like this is like a month ago. And this one guy I think I told you all this. This guy was like, "Yeah, well, that I think he was talking about Pfizer. He's like, they lost money last quarter." And I was like, "Bro, like, seriously? You really think like so when the government funds their research, and then the government like Biden like came out and announced it like a couple of weeks ago." Where he's like, I'm buying 100 million more doses.
I was about to say,
like you're buying them?
I'm sorry to say, but I will definitely put some money in the vaccines because it's like I'm expecting people to be like, you know what? And look, I'm like,
the evil motherfuckers gonna make money. You got to make money too, right?
I'm hedging bets out here right now, baby.
Right.
I'm like, hey, look,
I mean,
don't
shit.
take it. But if you do take it, let me put
Right.
a bit more money in it because
Exactly.
For sure. I've thought about investing in some of these too. I've got to, man, you understand how much fucking Amber and I have dreamed. Like if Bitcoin does eventually go fucking through the goddamn roof, we're buying land. Like I've got plans for can you imagine here in Indiana having owning about 20 acres and having a hotel that we build on that land and then having a Hotep Fest here?
I'm there.
Dude.
There.
You know, like we've already thought of it. This is the plan that we're making because that's how we can get out of this bullshit.
Firefest, Indiana, coming right up.
Right.
No, I'm just joking.
We've got, the thing is, we've got to start making these kinds of plans because they're making plans against us.
No, for sure. That's the thing. You got to just recognize the field for what it is and then act accordingly. And to a certain extent, that's and so back to like the guns thing. That's why like my next step is 3D printer, plastic.
Facts.
And then starting to like make my own shit. Like I'm not relying on some other shit. I'm not gonna say the words that are gonna get me in trouble or anything like that. But
all of us in trouble. But
the stree that gets registered and anyway, that thing I'm avoiding that. But anyway, it's you got to kind of think. It's chess, you know. It's chess, not checkers.
Yeah,
you have to think 7 moves ahead, and then constantly be like evaluating your plan and adjusting your plan as you go because it's going to change.
It's always a fucking rotating board, like a fucking labyrinth.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Right, and to Long Tong Sun's point, yes, I do look. What if it's not like I invested $10 million into Bitcoin? I don't, yes, that's one thing I have my ducks in, but it's not the only thing. Right. One of the things we invest in is our garden. We invest in things that are building us here. And hopefully at this point, if tomorrow they decided to lock everything down, that money I've got in Bitcoin might get me someplace a little bit safer, might give me a little bit of spendable money now and get the fuck out, and I've got cash. I've got, the bottom line is you have to have your eggs in a bunch of baskets. And, Chad, I think that eventually I want to get to the 3D printing idea too. I think that's a good idea. I'm not there yet. My focus right now is on gardening and trying to protect my family in that way.
That's a big part of it too. No, you got to do all of the above. That's the thing is that's where I'm starting to, build that too. Like this is my first year planting at the new house. And I'm not going to lie, it's been a little bit of a struggle trying to get, because there's some stuff that like, it looks pretty and shit. And like, I don't want to fuck it up. And so like, and my wife is like, where are you going to put that? Where are you going to put this? Where are you going to plant those carrots? And I'm like, fuck, so like, I'm trying to work around the surroundings and then also be like, look, we need to like have this shit so that we can survive when the shit hits the fan, if it does. But yeah, you kind of have to start doing all the above. And like what Natasha was saying, wells and water rights, that's big too. I'm not really in a position where I am right now to do that. Sure. I can get water out of the lake and put it through my filter. But other than that, I'm kind of fucked.
Well, the filter's a good idea. That's what we've done.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. But to that point about what if Bitcoin goes belly up? That's why I'm not exclusively in Bitcoin. And I'm not even talking about like other cryptocurrencies. I'm talking about like fuck cryptocurrency altogether, because if that doesn't work out the way that I'm hoping and planning and that I've seen so far, because I'm up like 400% or something like that on my Bitcoin shit, so like if that doesn't continue to work out that way, I have other shit in my back pocket. I've got physical silver. I've got nickels. I've got all these different things. I've got guns and ammo. Like
natural.
There's
currency.
Yes, absolutely. And
For
like
sure.
valuable assets like guns and ammo are a really, really good place to have some of your investments. Because A, they will protect your assets. B, they will help you to acquire other assets. I mean, you really have to start thinking about this from like, just go, if you don't do anything else, just go watch Walking Dead,
please,
just for prepper planning. Like, just to learn, like, all right, what do these motherfuckers need? That's what I need. Oh, they need food, they need clothing, they need guns and ammo, they need water, they need shelter. You know, all right. So what am I doing to make sure that I can cover all of those basic needs? What you have to do is you have to kind of flip Maslow's hierarchy of needs on its head and start thinking like, okay, self-actualization, that's cool. I'm still working on that. But while I'm doing that, I'm taking care of this other shit, because one thing that the world has done to us, and this is one of the things that's kind of fucked up, is if you think about how we are in our modern culture, we have allowed so much of that stuff to be put on autopilot by these corporations, Amazon, Walmart, Uber Eats, you know, all this shit that like takes care of that lower part of the pyramid. You know, OnlyFans, and you know, all these different things where it's like you don't even have to leave your house. And man, hasn't that come in handy in the last year? That you could like not leave your house and people will just bring food to you. You can watch shit online and like get off, and you know, there's all these weird ass things that should not be normal for us that have become really convenient and normal for people.
Yeah. And
so now it puts you in a position to where if they threaten to take that away, you're fucked.
Exactly.
Well, in one case, you're not fucked, and that's a problem. but you see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's gotten people. They've taken their eye off the ball. We've taken our eye off the ball as a culture, as a collective.
Yeah, and we've let these multinational corporations do it. Amber and I have talked about this on multiple occasions, where you can't get a bunch of shit you used to be able to get to fix anything. Like we don't have a radio.
You don't fix shit. You just throw it away and then
go buy something.
Buy another one. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. We're in the throwaway and rebuy
when that's
culture.
Not supplied anymore. Right. And we've look at how many things that you have to get at Walmart or at Meijer or someplace like that. You have to get it there. You can't get it anywhere else because they've driven everything else out of it. Well, I like Meijer better than Walmart.
No. But I'm just saying it's funny because like we don't have Meijer down here.
You can't just buy.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
I didn't know.
Yeah, your signal is starting to kind of come and go. So I'm like,
Felicia coming to fuck with you again.
I think I'm cutting you off, but I don't even realize it because you're like not talking. Okay. Fuck you, Felicia.
I am not talking.
Not Felicia Killings. Felicia Killings coming to the show on May 5th or May 12th. I'm sorry, May 12th. And we got Olivia Rondo coming up later on in April too. So
we most looking forward to that. As a society, have allowed all of the common needs, all the basic needs, the basic necessities of what life is to be stripped away. Human contact, 6 feet away, my ass.
Yep.
Growing your own food. Like, who don't want to grow their own food? Like, you know where it come from. It's like growing weed.
It's good.
You know where it come from. Let's see. The understanding of repairing things. Kids nowadays, my generation, I'll just Uber there. My car's fucked up. Nigga, you got YouTube. Go buy you them parts. Go figure out how that machine works and go fix it. There's so many things that,
right,
as a collective, we have continuously let, the convenience right there instead of the hard work. My great-grandparents used to own damn near a city in fucking Haiti because they busted their ass and they continued. long story short, we not we, they were like the aldermen and things of that nature. So if you weren't able to pay for something, they acquired property.
Right.
But with all those acres of land, they learned how to grow plantain by themselves. My grandmother learned so many things from them. It's the experience of learning, the experience of understanding, and the experience of connectivity and growing. The only connectivity that people want is through phones. The only connectivity people want is through virtual reality. The only connectivity that people want is through a distance. No. I don't give a fuck about this phone. If we're going to have a talk, like, I promise you, everybody in the chat, I promise you, if Chad, Marcus, and I were in a room, our podcast would be 3 hours long every fucking time.
For sure.
Every time.
Shit, man. Yep.
Every time.
Yep.
But instead, we don't get what God has given us, and what he's given, or no, I can't say he, what God has given us is the vibration and the energy. You all feel the shit in your everyday lives. 6 feet away, you damn near don't feel it if you're not in tune. But when you get in tuned and understand that, like, oh shit, I enjoyed that person's presence, or oh shit, that person drained me today, because we are all energy vampires. If you want to play that game, you siphon off of somebody. Somebody can be your sun, or somebody can be your moon. Put you to sleep or wake you up. You choose. But it's all of what you give off. And we have allowed them. Pretty soon, my library might be illegal, and I might really need to get a gun and pop somebody to try and take my books.
I'll tell you what, the truth is I've been collecting valuable books, and I don't mean valuable as in they cost money. I'm talking about valuable books for freedom. I've been collecting them. I look every time I'm in a half price books for, Benjamin Franklin books or Thomas Paine books, stuff like that we need, because
we need to talk, because I want to do that. Yeah, I'm actually like, that's one of the things that I'm looking at is I actually want to build a physical library. Like I want to build like
facts. I'm with you on that.
Like a legit physical library,
big-ass library
where we can actually like have these books available to people. If somebody needs a book, we have access to it, because there's so much of this shit that is like, it's getting taken off. Like, we already saw it. Like, fuck, Dr. Seuss is getting fucking taken off, and it's actually Seuss. But anyway, I'm not gonna get into all that. The way that it's pronounced is actually Seuss, not Seuss. But that's another story for another day.
Americanized.
Yeah, but when they take that shit and they're like removing it from the digital libraries, like you think you have some shit because you bought it on iBooks or you bought it on Kindle. Wait till they fucking remove that shit. Wait till they. That's why, like, and it's one of the things where
copies, baby.
I didn't even think about this, and I'm kind of ashamed. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of ashamed for not thinking of this before he said it. But when Brian said, I'm talking about Hotep Jesus, when he said that, like, when they came out with Amazon's two devices, okay, they had the Kindle and the Fire Stick and Fire Tablet. What do you do with books? You burn them.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, what is Amazon telling you? What are they telegraphing that they've got planned for the future? And what they've already started doing now? like, oh well, this guy had chopsticks in a Dr. Seuss book, 75 years ago or whatever the fuck it was. Like goddamn, man, like I fucking ate sushi last night. I had some chopsticks.
Appropriation.
What I don't understand is, like, is it that bad to say that an Asian dude if an American has a fork, is that like some sort of like, oh, that's too far. You went too far.
Yep.
Like, for real? Like, are we fucking really at this point where, like, if you got an Asian dude with chopsticks, that means delete the book? I mean, goddamn.
Apparently.
Fuck them. Let's just be clear. Fuck them. I am going to be who I am.
So seriously, let's collaborate on this library. We need to make this shit happen.
I'm for sure.
Just start picking them up.
I want to prop up Chicago students not only through library of teachings of history and all that basic rhetoric ass shit. I want to teach people of their history of spirituality, their true spirituality, and what they need to understand. Like, it's not, I'll have every single Bible, Torah, fucking Quran in that bitch so you can understand that there's much more for you to learn than what you already think you've learned and what you think you're going to learn.
Mm-hmm.
When you have the accessibility to that, you're able to expand upon your mind. Sorry, Marcus. You're able to expand upon your mind and grow beyond what you allowed yourself to grow. When the school library had books, you have so many to gaze through, but yeah, that may not interest you now. But then when you go read a different book, and then you're like, oh shit.
Right.
Let me go back to this bitch.
The old rabbit hole. Yeah,
Exactly.
man. Because you start you're like, wait, all right, so they referred to this book. Let me go look at that book.
The digital, they could be like, oh, you want that rabbit hole? Closed. They filled it up with cement.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, and you know, it's going to take a bit of work, and I'm all about it, Chad. I'm already committed to doing it. Any important books that I see, I've already got 2 copies of Locke. I think I've got 2 copies of a couple of Voltaire books, and I'm of course getting myself some copies too. But I am amassing extra copies.
Right. No, garage sales and all, like everything that I can think of. Like that's kind of the strategy there, because I do really think that's, as much as we talk about, like, you know, metals and guns and ammo and all that stuff, like the trap door to knowledge, when that gets shut, it gets a lot more scary, because then you have, like, you could potentially cut off generations from
Facts.
from knowledge. I mean, we've already had it. We've already seen it happen. There's a reason why when you go through any educational system, even a private educational system, there's like, it's almost like there's this vein that is the public education system. And then off of that, there's like the acceptable offshoots of private education that they allow you to listen to. And it's like, well, but you're still kind of like, it all kind of leads back to that official narrative, doesn't it? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. All right. So like, we're not going to talk about this other stuff. Those books aren't even mentioned.
Right. When you homeschool a kid, you have to follow you have to follow line guidelines. Like, you have to follow around specific criteria. And I'm like, my kids are going to know about the motherfucking ancient Kemetic beings that lived.
Right.
But in down dirty South, a motherfucker will tell you, oh, slavery was great. It was a great thing. No. Whoa.
Hey, watch out now. We don't do that down here. Well, I mean, not all of us.
Exactly. Not all of you. I'm not saying Louisiana, my boy, or New Orleans. But the thing is the fact is,
lives in Baton
they're able.
He still thinks I live in New Orleans. It's all right. Nicco, I hope whenever you come over, you come to the right city.
Just drop the location, buddy.
I'll drop a pin.
They're able to skew information. When you're able to collaborate and understand all the information in one place, you can't skew it because you got the book right next to you. You got that information right next to you to be like, oh, okay, well, this is where they diverged from.
Mm-hmm.
And so
that's why, like, having those as far back as you can get them, maybe not original, but as close to original sources as possible is gold, because it's already printed. You can't go back and edit it because the shit is in. I'm looking at it in fucking black and white in my hands. This shit was published in 1937. You can't tell me this shit doesn't fucking exist because I'm reading it right
they had
here.
The bell curve as a book.
Exactly.
The bell curve was a book.
Right.
And some,
man.
Some of the books that we need to acquire are also things like a survival guide, or things like how to build shit when you don't have nothing.
Facts.
Yeah.
those kinds of things. Guys, we're getting close to our 2-hour mark. We probably ought to start to wrap it up.
I need to take my ass to bed, boys. I'm not gonna lie. I'm past my bedtime already. But
all right. We'll let you go, Nicco. We're gonna let everybody go. We're gonna wrap it up.
I'll stay on. Look,
Nicco's drinking White Claws and shit in the.
No. This is Cactus by Travis Scott. Don't buy this shit. It's terrible. Anybody who
hey man, I'm drinking Mountain Dew. So.
Terrible.
You drink.
Look, I mean,
I'll say this. Like, I actually, so I saw Travis Scott live, and I didn't appreciate his his donation of all his proceeds to Planned Parenthood at Hangout Live in 2019.
He must have had a whole bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, right. So, but I do appreciate his music and like his. I actually think it's really cool. Like, he's actually done a lot to like. Through his music, not like in his activism or anything like that, but like just like through his music, I think he's actually like helped a lot of kids who were like suicidal or like feeling like they were completely alienated. And there's a lot of people who've like testified to like how like his music has actually made them like feel sort of, I don't know, empowered and like, he's good. So he's very talented. I would not buy his energy drink though.
No. This ain't no energy.
That was my whole buildup. I was not buying his energy drink.
No energy drink. This is a put me to sleep kind of drink.
It's a put you to sleep drink.
Yes, sir.
Possibly even worse.
Look, no, this will give you an accident on the highway. But the thing is they taste terrible. My homie told me about them and said they don't taste great, but they'll get you there. Look, that get you there will put me to sleep, and that's what I need. I need to go to sleep.
All I can think of is I don't remember the name of the song, but it's like he's like N-diethyltryptamine, lysergic acid, diethylamide. The vibes are effervescent.
Yeah, no.
Delicious as it should be.
And it's Birds Sing by McKnight.
Is it Birds? Is it Birds in the Trap? Oh, it is Birds in the Trap. Okay, I couldn't remember. I was just thinking. All I could think of was like no sleep in my bed. Anyway,
no sleeping in my bed. We gonna play. Let me stop.
It's a good ass song though. I'm not gonna lie.
Look, I have that man downloaded. I've been struggling, but since I have recently gotten paid, thank God, I'm about to get me a new phone, and my phone dies faster than I don't know what dies fast, but my phone dies very fast, and I have to put my phone on airplane mode when I go to work, when I listen to my music.
Damn. All
and
right.
so like
so you got to download it all before you go to work, so it's all on your phone.
Yeah, let me tell you,
picking up all your hard drive space.
Disappointed where I'd have to like go to work, and then I'd go through my download songs, and I'd be like, "Oh, you didn't download this song because the internet was motherfucking off." Fuck you. I guess I'm going to have these lyrics stuck in my head all day. So no. But to get to the point, Travis Scott has most definitely he's approached a few topics and done a few things that I have appreciated.
Yeah.
But besides that, these drinks are ass. Don't purchase them. They just get you there. If they're ever at a party and you ain't got no White Claws, those will work for you.
If we still had the after hour, this would be the after hour right here.
Right, for sure.
Oh shit!
All right, guys.
Love you, Nicco.
The bottom line is
get some sleep, man.
The bottom line is, guys, for those of you that have stuck with us through this entire episode, the answer to gun control is go fuck yourself. There you go. I'm not going to be controlled because gun control is about control, not about guns.
And if you come to me with some shots,
Cuddy.
If you come to me with some shots that you want to stick in my arm, I can inoculate you real quick with some PB inoculations. If you know what that means, you know what that means. What does PB stand for anyway? Nobody y'all don't know the periodic table? Goddamn.
What is that?
Dude, do I look like a chemist?
It's lead. Anyway. All right.
All right, smart motherfucker.
Let me get to the
I haven't memorized the periodic table of elements in a long time, but I did tell you about some
when I took a test in college.
Quick. All right.
Oh, shit.
Let me mix a little bit of this and that and get you a little zim zim zalabim. All right.
Shazam!
You feel me?
Right on, guys. All right.
All right,
Thanks
man.
to all of our Anarchs for joining us tonight. It's been good in the chat.
doubt.
I hope that we have shared some of your comments. We've enjoyed a lot of your comments. And make sure
There's going to be the
that
three
if
of us next week, too. So you'll have some chances to come in and ask
For
more
sure.
questions next week,
For
too.
sure. For sure.
All right, boys.
And make sure you hit that Patreon
Girl.
and hit that bell icon. And remember, two shares to spread this show across the interwebs.
Speed the spread. Speed the spread.
Speed the spread across the interwebs.
We're not slowing the spread.
Oh,
We're
wait,
speeding the
wait, wait, wait.
spread. We're accelerating the spread.
Before we hop off, don't.
You're the one who
forget-
has to go to bed, motherfucker. Like we were holding.
Hey, I'm trying to protect our people from the new mutating little
Okay, all right.
dig that's coming out. So apparently we have to
All
push back this goalpost a little bit further because it mutates just as fast as these hooker change sheets and beds. So always stay healthy, stay under the sun, and stay great, my friends.
Stay free, friends.